Good morning, dear students. How are you all? I really hope you all are fit and fine. Today, I have brought to you a topic from class 7. We are going to read a poem today. The poem is from your book Honeycomb and its title is The Shed. Dear children, let me first introduce you all to the poet of this poem. The poet of this poem is Frank Flynn. He was born on 6th December 1906. He was an Australian doctor, priest and an author. He was born in Sydney, Australia, and The Living Heart, Northern Gateway, etc. are some of his books. Now, after the poet, let us see what the poem is going to be about. This poem is about a shed. Obviously, as the name of the poem suggests, this poem is about a shed which is a small room away from the main house. It is located at the bottom of the poet's garden. It is in the worst condition. In this poem, the poet has explained how he wishes to visit the shed one day. After reading the poem, we'll find out what prevents him from going inside the shed. So, this poem is all about a shed that is located at the bottom of the poet's garden, that is located at the far end of the poet's garden, and there is something about the shed which the poet finds disturbing. He wants to visit the shed. He wants to take a look inside the shed, but there is something about the shed which prevents him from doing so. And what is it? Why is the poet so curious and still he doesn't visit the shed? We'll find out after reading the poem. But let me first introduce you to what a shed is. A shed, children, is a structure built for shelter or storage. A shed could be used for various purposes. Okay? It could be a tool shed where your tools could be stored, or it could be a car shed where you can park your car or other vehicles. A shed could also be an animal shed, a shelter place for animals like cows or horses, etc. And a shed could also be a wood shed where chopped wood can be stored. And here in this poem, children, we are going to talk about a garden shed. A garden shed is a shed which is usually constructed at the back of a garden, and it can be used to store the gardening tools or the spare flower pots, etc. Basically, children, the concept of having a garden shed is more popular in the Western countries. And hence, even though the setting of the poem may not be that familiar to you children, but the central idea or the message that the poem gives out is going to be very relatable to you. So let's first read out the text of the poem and then we'll discuss it further. The shed. There's a shed at the bottom of our garden with a spider's web hanging across the door. The hinges are rusty and creak in the wind. When I'm in bed, I lie and listen. I'll open the door one day. There's a dusty old window around at the side with 3 cracked panes of glass. I often think there's someone staring at me each time that I pass. I'll peep through that window one day. My brother says there's a ghost in the shed who hides under the rotten floorboards. And if I ever dare to set foot inside, he'll jump out and chop off my head. But I'll take a peek one day. I I know that there isn't really a ghost. My brother tells lies to keep the shed for his den. There isn't anyone stirring or making strange noises, and the spider has been gone from his web since I don't know when. I'll go into that shed one day soon, but not just yet. So, children, this was our poem. Now, let us analyze each stanza separately and find out what the poem is about. The first stanza reads, "There's a shed at the bottom of our garden with a spider's web hanging across the door. The hinges are rusty and creak in the wind. When I'm in bed, I lie and I listen. I'll open the door one day." So here in the first stanza, the poet has explained that the shed about which the poet is writing is located at the bottom of, that is at the far end of the garden of the poet's house, with a spider's web hanging across the door. And there's a spider's web hanging across the door of that shed. You can see the picture of the spider web here. So spider webs are usually associated with places that are spooky. Okay, spooky means scary. In cartoons or in movies, you must have seen that usually spider webs and bats can be seen in places that are isolated, that are not visited much by people. The hinges are rusty and creak in the wind. Even the hinges of the door, that is, the joints of the door, hinges means the joints. The joints of the doors of the shed are rusty. They have got rust. That is, the hinges have corroded over time. You can even see the picture of a rusty hinge on your screen right now. It shows that the shed has been constructed a long time before, or it is not maintained well. And due to the rust on the hinges, the doors of the shed creak in the wind. Creak means they create noise when the wind blows. When I'm in bed, I lie and listen. And the poet says that at night when the poet is lying on his bed, he can listen to the sounds coming from the shed. Because of the wind, when the doors of the shed creak, they create a noise. He can listen to those noises. He can hear those noises from his bedroom. I'll open that door one day. And the poet has told us about his desire to open that door, that particular door, which he can listen to from his bedroom. He wants to open that door. He wants to see what is inside that shed. He wants to go and open the door which creaks in the wind. Now I'll play for you that creaking sound so you can understand actually how the door of that shed creates the noise, and the poet is very much fascinated by it. He gets very curious when he listens to that noise and he wants to go and check that door one day. So this is the noise which is produced when the doors creak. Children, the sound that you just heard was how a door creaks when the wind blows. So this sound usually emerges when the hinges of the door are rusty. They are not properly oiled. They are not new. Okay. So this is how a creaking door sounds. And I do believe that almost all of us have heard this noise and we're familiar with it, and we all know that this noise kind of frightens or disturbs us. It is not a very pleasant noise to hear. So this is one of the reasons why the poet is a bit curious to find out what is there inside that shed. Because of its appearance, because of the spider's web hanging across the door, because of the noise that the door produces, etc. Okay, this is what fascinates the poet. This is what attracts the poet towards the shed. Now moving on to the second stanza. There's a dusty old window around at the side with 3 cracked panes of glass. I often think there's someone staring at me each time that I pass. I'll peep through that window one day. So here the poet is describing the shed further. Earlier he described how it was covered with spider webs and the hinges of the doors are rusty and they creak, they create a sound when the wind blows. Now the poet is describing the window of that shed. He says that there's a dusty old window, that is, there's a window which is full of dust, which is covered with dust, and it is quite old because the shed is also very old, and it has 3 cracked panes of glass. That is, the window is covered with glass and 3 of the panels or 3 of the portions of the glass of that window are cracked, that is broken or shattered. You can see in the picture how it might look like. I often think there's someone staring at me each time that I pass. And the poet says that every time the poet passes from near that shed, he has a feeling, he has this sensation that someone is staring at him. Someone is looking at him through that window. So it frightens him. He gets a bit anxious, he gets a bit worried, he feels a bit uncomfortable. He feels that someone is staring at him through that window. I'll peep through that window one day. Still, the poet has decided to peep through. To peep through means to look through that window one day. So you can see in the picture how we peep. So the action that the boy is doing in that picture is known as peeping. Okay, when you look through something, that is known as to peep. So the poet says that one day I'll surely peep through that window. My brother says there's a ghost in the shed who hides under the rotten floorboards. So here in the third stanza, the poet is saying that his brother has told him that there was a ghost in the shed. So you can see what is a ghost. A ghost is a spirit or the soul of a dead being. Actually, children, there are no things like ghost. These are a part of only our imagination. When we are afraid or when we are very excited or worried about something, then we imagine such things in our mind. And children amongst themselves talk about things like ghosts, etc. to frighten each other. Okay, so here also the poets, probably it's his elder brother who is trying to just frighten him by cooking up a story that there is a ghost inside the shed and that ghost hides, that is lives under the rotten floorboards. That is, the ghost lives under the floor of the shed. That means that the flooring of this shed is made up of wood, and because the shed is quite old, the flooring has rotten. The floorboards have rotten, that is, they have decayed with time. They have become damaged or destroyed with time. You can see in the picture. And the poet's brother says that under those floorboards there lives a ghost, and if I ever dare to set foot inside, and if the poet dares, that is, if he ever shows the courage to set foot inside, that means to step inside, to go inside that shed, what will happen? He'll jump out and chop off my head. He means the ghost. The ghost will jump out from under the floorboard and chop off the poet's head. Chop off means cut off. Okay, this is what the poet's elder brother has told him. But I'll take a peek one day. I here means the speaker, the poet, but still the poet says my brother has told me all these things, that there's a ghost who is going to cut off my head if I go inside, but still I will take a peek one day. The poet still wants to find out what is there inside the shed. Okay. Now children, in the first 3 paragraphs, the poet has described the appearance of the shed, how it looked scary to him, how he felt that there was someone staring at him through the window of the shed, how his brother had told him that there was a ghost inside the shed, and the creaking noise of the door which disturbed him. Now in the 4th stanza, you'll see how he tries to convince himself that all these things are just a part of his imagination. He needs not be actually afraid about these things. I know that there isn't really a ghost. In the first line of the 4th stanza itself, the poet declares that he knows that there isn't actually a ghost who lives inside the shed like his brother told him. My brother tells lies to keep the shed for his den. He says that he knows the reason why his brother lied to him about the ghost. He says that because the brother of the poet wants to keep the shed as his private room. Den means a private room. The poet's brother wants to use the den alone. He wants to be the sole person to be there in the shed. He doesn't want to share the shed with his brother, so he wants to keep him away from the shed, and that is why he has cooked up this story about a ghost who lives in the shed and how the ghost will chop off the poet's head, just to frighten the poet and keep him away from the shed. But now the poet has told us that he knows that it's a lie and he knows the reason for it. There isn't anyone stirring or making strange noises. The poet is saying that I know that there is not anyone staring at me through the window and there's no one making noises inside the shed. The shed is empty and the spider has been gone from his web since I don't know when. And the poet is also afraid of spiders, maybe. Like most of the children are afraid of insects, especially spiders. And the poet says that since the spider is no more there, he needs not be afraid about going into the shed anymore. I'll go into that shed one day soon, but not just yet. So here in the closing lines of the poem, once again the poet is saying that I'll go into that shed one day soon. Now he has decided to visit the shed within a short time. Earlier he was just saying that I'll take a peep one day, I'll peep through the window one day, or I'll open the door one day. Now he has added an adverb here, the adverb soon, to show that now he's not afraid to go into the shed, but then not just yet, not right now. Although he is trying to convince himself that there is nothing to be frightened or afraid of about the shed, still I think he has some residual doubts. He still has that hesitation to go inside the shed. So on one hand he says that I'll visit the shed soon, and at the same time he also says but not just yet. So it is how children usually behave. They try to show that they are brave enough and they know that some things which are told to them are not actually true. They are meant to just frighten them, or they are just meant to make them stay away from some things. But still, because they are children, they do have their doubts. Like we have read in this poem that the poet says that he wants to visit the shed, but then he keeps on postponing his visit due to some reason or the other. Okay children, so I hope the poem is clear to you and you enjoyed reading it, and I do believe you could have related to this poem because it happens to most of us. Most of us are afraid of certain things, and children, we are afraid of the things about which we are not sure. The biggest fear is the fear of the unknown. That means when we don't know about something, then we are afraid of doing it, or we are afraid of trying that thing out. We are afraid of going to a place when we don't know what is there inside that place. Like here in this poem, the poet doesn't know what is there inside the shed. He has just heard about it from his brother, who has tried to frighten him further, and he has heard some strange sounds coming from the shed. He has seen that the shed is in a very bad condition. There are spider webs there, and the windows are dusty and they're broken, and the whole ambience, the whole look of that shed is not inviting enough. So the poet has created a picture in his mind. He has his doubts about the shed, and at the same time he's curious to find out what is there in the shed. He tries to rationalize with himself. He tries to debate. He tries to convince himself that there's nothing to be afraid of about the shed. But still, because of some residual doubts here and there, he keeps on postponing his visit to the shed. Now let's have a quick look at the summary of the poem to sum up, to see in brief what the poem was about. The shed is located at the bottom of the garden. So the first and foremost thing is the location of the shed. It is located at the bottom of the poet's garden. A spider's web is seen hanging across the door, and there's a spider's web that can be seen hanging across the door, which frightens the poet, and it gives the shed a spooky or a uninviting look. When the wind blows, the creaking sound of the rusty hinges attracts the poet's attention. And when at night everything is quiet and there's a wind blowing outside, the poet can hear the creaking sound coming from the rusty hinges of the door of that shed. This sound also creates a negative image of the shed in the poet's mind. The poet plans to satisfy his curiosity to see what is hidden inside the shed. Even though the poet is not that comfortable about the shed, he still has the curiosity to visit, to see what is actually inside the shed. Whenever the poet passes through the way, he feels that someone is staring at him. So the poet is so dominated by the thoughts of the shed that when he even passes from near the shed, he feels that someone is staring at him from the window of that shed. And we all know that it's just a part of his imagination, and in the end, in the last stanza, he even admits to it, that there's actually no one looking at him. The poet's brother lies to him that a ghost lives in the shed and he may attack on him if he enters the shed. And to add to everything, the poet's brother has cooked up a story about a ghost that lives inside the shed under the rotten floorboards. And the poet's brother has told him that if you go inside the shed, the ghost is going to jump out and chop off your head. And in the fourth stanza, the poet says that he knows that it's not true. It's a fib. Okay, it's a false story made up by his brother, cooked up by his brother to make him stay away from the shed. The poet is partially frightened, but he does not completely believe his brother and has a plan to look through the broken window one day. So even after all these things that are going on in his mind about the shed, he still has not given up on his plan to go inside the shed or look through the window one day. So this is what the poem is about. let us look at the central idea of the poem. Now, children, every story or poem that we have in our textbooks is there to give us a message. It is there to teach us something. So, here in this poem, the central idea is rationality and fearlessness. This poem teaches us that we should not believe in baseless and imaginative stories about ghosts and other supernatural creatures. It means that we should be rational in our approach towards anything. That is, our thoughts should be clear and they should be reasonable and based on logic. Okay, like the child in the fourth stanza says that he knows that there's nothing to be afraid of about the shed. The story of the ghost is false and there's no one staring at him. So this is how we need to be mature, we need to be rational, we need to be logical about our approach towards anything, about our thinking towards the things about which we do not know exactly. Like the child doesn't know what is there inside the shed, and initially in the poem he is frightened, he's thinking about a lot of things that are there in the shed which are actually not true. And in the fourth stanza he gives us the message that all the things that he was thinking about the shed earlier were only a part of his frightened imagination. Okay, we should try to overcome our fears. Like in the poem, the child says that he'll go into the shed soon. Not yet, but soon. So he has the determination to try and overcome his fear about the shed as soon as he can. He has not given up on the idea of going inside the shed. He still has his fears, but then he is determined, he's resolute about going inside the shed. So whenever we fear about something, whenever we are frightened of something, we are afraid of something, we should not give up without actually knowing about that thing. Okay, because I told you earlier that the biggest fear is the fear of the unknown. So once we get to know about the thing, we will definitely be more comfortable with that thing and all our fears will vanish. So this is what the poem has tried to convey to us. Furthermore, let us discuss the textbook questions of the poem, children. The first question is, who is the speaker in the poem? As we all know that it is not clearly mentioned who the speaker is, so we can infer from the poem that since the poem is written from the perspective of a young boy, okay, so we can write that the speaker of the poem is probably the poet or perhaps the poet when he was a young boy. Second question is she or he afraid or curious or both? So the question is asking whether the speaker is afraid, frightened or curious. Curious means interested in learning about something, interested in knowing about something. Or is he both frightened and curious? So from the poem, children, I think you must have all noticed that the child is actually, the speaker is actually both. He's afraid as well as he's curious. He's afraid to go inside the shed because he still has some fears in his mind regarding the shed. But at the same time, he's curious to go and find out what is there inside the shed. Okay. Third question is, what is she or he planning to do soon? So you can easily answer this question. What is the speaker planning? What is the speaker willing or wishing to do soon? The speaker is wishing or planning to visit the shed soon, to go and look inside the shed soon. That is very early. The fourth question is, but not just yet. This is the last line of our poem. Suggests doubt, fear, hesitation, laziness, or something else. Choose the word which seems right to you. Tell others why you chose it. Now, this is a question where you have to give your own opinion, children. According to you, what does this line suggest? But not just yet. Why do you think the child has written this line at the end? The child says that I'll soon visit the shed, but not just yet. So why do you think that the poet, the speaker, is still not ready to go inside the shed? Whether he's doubtful, he's unsure, or he's still frightened, he is hesitating, he's not comfortable enough about going inside the shed, or he's lazy. Simply, he doesn't have the intention or willpower to go inside and see what is there inside the shed. Or is it something else? According to you, what is the answer? Okay, so this you can answer on your own by reading the poem once or twice and analyzing it on your own. So this is a question which I'll let you decide or choose the answer to. Okay, children? Not only these questions, children, there is a very interesting question in this chapter which can be a part of your creative writing activity. And I would recommend that all of you should try and attempt it. It is very fascinating. The question is there a room in your house or a house in your neighborhood or locality where you would rather not go alone and never at night? If there is such a place and a story to go with it, let everyone know about it. So, children, in this question, what you have to write is you have to discuss your experience about any particular room in your house that you are afraid to go into. Okay? And if there is any room in your house where you are afraid to go when it is dark, when the lights are not switched on, or if there is a house in your neighborhood, the place where you live, which you find or which you feel is quite scary, you will never ever go alone into that house, especially at night. So if there is any place that you are afraid of, like in this poem, the poet was afraid of going inside that shed. He had his own reasons and he discussed them in this poem. He told us about them in this poem. Similarly, Bache, you have to tell your own experience about any place that is there in your own house or in your locality where you are afraid to go, you are afraid to visit. If there is such a place and a story to go with it, especially if you have any incident that you can narrate about that place, any experience about that place that you can tell others, then you should share it. And what you can do is you can write about that place if there is any, or you can even imagine something and then give your answer, give your piece of writing to your teacher for correction. You can share it with your friends. It will be a fun activity. Do try and attempt it. You'll learn something new if you do it. You'll enjoy doing it. Okay, children? So, children, I sincerely hope that you enjoyed the poem and you understood it very well. Especially, always remember what the poem has taught us, that we should not be frightened or afraid without knowing about anything completely. Whenever you feel frightened about anything, think logically, think rationally, and try to overcome your fear. On this note, I would like to end today's class. My best wishes to you all. Thank you, children.